Welcome to the midnight tide, where shadows whisper, darkness hides. We're diving deep into the unknown, on a journey you're not alone. From haunted halls to specters lost, we'll guide you through the eerie frost, with tales that chill and spirits roam. A freaking awesome paranormal show. Ghostly whispers, ancient tomes, mysteries in haunted homes. Brace yourselves, it's time to go. The freaking awesome paranormal show. The freaking awesome paranormal show. Ghostly whispers, ancient tomes, mysteries in haunted homes. Brace yourselves, it's time to go. The freaking awesome paranormal show. The freaking awesome paranormal show. Welcome to the midnight tide, where shadows whisper, darkness hides. We're diving deep into the unknown, on a journey you're not alone. From haunted halls to specters lost, we'll guide you through the eerie frost, with tales that chill and spirits roam. The freaking awesome paranormal show. Ghostly whispers, ancient tomes, mysteries in haunted homes. Brace yourselves, it's time to go. The freaking awesome paranormal show. The freaking awesome paranormal show. Ghostly whispers, ancient tomes, mysteries in haunted homes. Brace yourselves, it's time to go. The freaking awesome paranormal show.
The engine is starting up.
For launch. GC, go. Guidance, go. Fido, go. Prop, go. GNC, go. Max, go. Eagle, go. Ecom,
go. Pending final steps. The cabin link check.
3, 2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us? Can you give us a sign?
Welcome to the R.I.F.T Nation Network, the R&N, putting a slide in your glide and a dip in your hip. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe. With shows throughout the week, you can find us at Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and more. Everything you could want, everything you can need right here, right now. From the paranormal to the supernatural. From comedy to the spiritual. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
It's showtime, folks!
Podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
What is up, freaks? This is Ryan. And Rhonda was here a second ago, but apparently there she is. She dropped off. I think she is back. There you are.
I'm back. Restream just acted crazy.
Yeah, I got signed out of Restream earlier today.
It was weird. I couldn't see chat. So, because I was like, I'm going to put on chat because I know people start chatting before we get on.
Yeah.
I hit chat. It wanted me to log in with my Google account. So I was like, okay, maybe it's a change. So I did. And then I don't know who I was talking to. So I was like, let me get out and come back in. So that worked. I can see the chat. Goodness gracious.
We got a lot of people in chat tonight. This is awesome.
Yes. Thank you for joining, everyone.
Howie, Tips Top Hat.
Hey, Howie
Odell. I missed your show on Sunday because I was in North Carolina.
I mean,
at the time,
I will accept that reason.
I know it's a flimsy reason at best, but I'm glad you're accepting it. I definitely.
I will accept that because if I was at the beach, I wouldn't. Well, technically, I will be at the beach next week, and I'll just be work. But
are you going to Florida, right?
I'm going to Florida to work.
Nice.
But we do have a dinner planned at the beach, so that'd be good.
That'll be fun.
Yeah. So the beach. Now I have to ask: you were not saying any blasphemy while you were at said beach, while it was 85 degrees, that's causing
was
it to be
nice.
30 degrees tonight.
No, I mean, out when you're at the beach, and you have water to jump into to refresh yourself, and you're not sitting in the middle of Richmond where it's 100 degrees outside with 100-degree like humidity and no like sense of being able to relieve that. No, I felt good. It was nice down there.
Yeah, and I think you missed being down there, like the worst pollen weekend we have had this weekend.
Oh, there we
It
go.
was I mean, pollen's been bad, but it was insane Saturday. Saturday was just a whole mess.
Carrie Lynn said I used to watch a live that you did about maple syrup.
Yeah, you missed that. It was during your busy season. It was during your
What live?
busy season.
What live that you did about I did a live on maple syrup, or somebody else did a live on
No,
maple
it
syrup?
was the live we did with Carrie Lynn.
Oh,
We went
yes.
down the whole maple syrup.
Yes. Well, that was the molasses incident.
Yes, the molasses incident. Yep.
Yes,
Yep.
the new board game.
Yes, you have to go find that.
Yes, we will. Yeah, it's I think Carrie Lynn was like either the last, maybe it may have been the last show we did in December.
I think so.
No, the Jim Sandoval was the last one.
Yeah.
It was right before that, like week before
She
that.
was in December, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, it was in December.
Yeah. But yeah,
So
that was a good one. That was a fun one.
Tell you what, we decided we were going to drive back home this morning, and we decided to drive home last night because Angie and her mom were playing cards, and RJ was like, "Why? What are we waiting for?" She's like, "What are you talking about?" She's like, "Why aren't we going home?" And so she was like, "You want to go home now?" He was like, "Yeah." So we ended up driving home in like a torrential downpour. Like it was terrible. And
I bet.
we took Angie's van, and she's very particular about her seat position in said van. So she doesn't like me driving it. So she was white knuckling it the whole time. Her mom was in the back making comments about how I told you we shouldn't leave. We'll get a hotel room. And the whole time we were driving, we kept getting these snide remarks from her mom, which made her feel like stressed out. So we didn't get to home until like 2 o'clock in the morning. And then after dealing with all that, it's hard to actually fall asleep. So I didn't get to bed till like 4.
Oh my gosh.
And Angie was like, "Yeah, could y'all take RJ to school?" I'm like, "No." So I'm not getting up at 7:30 in the morning to take him to school. So he ended up staying home an extra day. He had 2 extra days of spring break.
Nice.
We'll send you the link, Teresa.
Yep, we'll do it.
It was a fun spring break. Angie took the kids to Great Wolf Lodge last week, and then we went to the beach on Thursday. Had nice weather. We used the hot tub a couple of times at night, which was fun. RJ had a good time. Her mom had a good time. Besides, the drive home. Yeah, she was not happy about that, but other than that, she had a good time, and yeah, it was fun. But yeah, it was good to get away, and I'm glad that I got to be home to enjoy the goodness of Draw a Bird Day.
Draw a Bird Day.
Yeah, it's tough to celebrate Draw a Bird Day when you're driving because you want to spend it with your family and you want to really take in the day of Draw a Bird Day. If you're driving, you really can't really draw birds while you're driving. Nope. So I'm glad I got to come home. I woke up this morning. I drew a hand turkey, and then I drew the little M seagull when you
like the seagulls when you were a kid.
Yes.
Yep.
That's the extent of my Draw a Bird Day. I'm just drawing M's all over the place. Look, it's a beach scene. Whoop. So I hope everyone is enjoying their draw birthdays. It is actually also National Empanada Day.
Ooh, I like an empanada.
My towel thing fell on the floor.
I like that.
They had the caramel apple empanada at Taco Bell for a while, and Angie was a big fan of that. And they came back. They had this like decades thing at the end of the year last year, where they had like different offerings from each decade, like 70s, 80s, 90s. So they brought back the caramel apple empanada for it felt like 2 weeks, and then took it away. But every other like thing lasted a lot longer. But I think that's the only empanada I've ever actually had.
Oh, they're so good.
Yeah. They should have brought it back for today, Empanada Day.
They should have.
Yeah. So, can you talk about the people in chat? Can you show them some love, please?
Yes, because we've got a lot of people. Hello, Teresa. Hello, Agatha and Ashley Herndon and Michelle Wilfong. Hey, Rhonda, I had an intuitive workshop with Carrie Lynn, which that's awesome. I'm so glad you got to take a class with her. Lois Clark, Sharon Metter, Howie Odell, Paul Fowler, Michelle Kleckler Caps, good to see you. Leah, let's see, everything looks okay from the board. I'm here if you need me. Thank you, Howie. It's straightened right on up. Hill City Paranormals in the house. Woo-hoo. Lost Souls Paranormal, Michael Brooks, Keith Ottersberg. Thank you all for joining us.
Thank you very much. So if I feel a little off today, it is because I am tired, but ready to go.
Hey, if you could draw a bird,
I can
draw a bird. You can do this.
Really, it's just right. It's just drawer's cramp because I've been drawing birds all day. Now is the time we're going to talk about the Freakin Awesome playlist. Now we're supposed to have a show this Sunday.
We were.
But Rhonda is going to be in Florida.
Yeah.
So we were like, well, we can't do the show without Rhonda.
Yep.
It just can't happen. So we're going to move the Freakin Awesome playlist back a week. So it'll be on Easter.
I greatly appreciate. We've got a paranormal lockdown till 5 a.m. on Saturday night. And then Monday morning, I've got to be at the airport. And I was like, here's where I need to not try to be Superwoman and do 2 podcasts on Sunday night. So I appreciate y'all waiting for me. And Miss Ashley Herndon, who's in the chat for filling in for me.
She'll be with me next Tuesday.
Yep.
And you can look forward to a special Easter edition of the Freakin Awesome playlist. And no, we're not talking about our favorite Easter songs because I don't know very many Easter songs. And I'm sure that,
I'm sure there's an Easter song somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, mostly kids songs and religious songs, which again, we appreciate, but we're going to be talking about our favorite 1980s soundtracks.
Yes.
And so it's going to be exciting times. And what a great way to end Easter. You wake up in the morning, go to church, you look for your baskets, maybe dye some eggs, and listen to music with us.
Yeah.
You can't really get much better than that.
Nope, you can't. You cannot.
And I believe Rhonda has some cards to
I do. I'm using the same deck as last week because I kind of liked that one. So just for something new for a show or two, we're doing the Spirit of the Animals Oracle deck. So I'm going to pull a card for the collective. If it resonates with you, take it. If it doesn't make any sense to you at all, just let it go. Let's see what we got. Okay. Ooh. We've got the Snow Leopard. That's a really pretty card. Let's see. Snow Leopard self-reliance. You are strongly independent and often solitary. Integrity is important for your best outcome. Cloak yourself with invisibility and walk with the shamans. Use your intuition and let your life unfold in silent perfection. So when I tap into this, I mean, what the card says very much is, be okay with going inward and using your intuition, and being solitary at times to let things build as they are supposed to. Um, but what really came to me when I was looking at this and reading it, it's really about, to me, this is how what I'm getting from it is, there is sometimes you need to work in silence. So if you've got goals, you've got aspirations, you've got projects that you're working on, sometimes your best bet is just to kind of not let everybody know exactly what you're doing. I know some projects we do for ourselves, we want the motivation from our friends, but a lot of times when you've got something that you're really um, keen on or really wanting to get done or is really important to you, sometimes other people can put noise in our heads while we're trying to get things done. And then we lose track of why we wanted to do what we wanted to do. So I'm going to say this oracle for the snow leopard is just a reminder that sometimes it's better to work in silence and not never let everybody know exactly what you're up to. Um, and sometimes that'll help you cultivate things a little bit more quickly and without everyone else's reactions to it.
Well, there you go. So that's the cards have spoken, and you know what, we have to wait 2 weeks to know how people learn how to know how to live their lives. So I'm
How
all
about this? How about this? Because I will have, time while I'm, during the day that Tuesday. So sometime that Tuesday, it might be after the show. I will post a card on our Facebook page, take a picture, and then I will give you what I think it means for the week.
okay, good.
How about
'Cause
that?
then-
So y'all go to our Facebook page. I'll post it on the Riff Nation page as well. And that way it's not hard to find, but I'll post both places. Go look for your Tuesday inspiration.
I know people were freaking out because they knew you weren't going to be here next week, and they were like, well, "Why? How am I supposed to know how to live my life?" So
Well, I got you covered. I will
thank you.
post it, and if anybody, I'll try to do it. What I'll try to do is post it because I'll have some time Monday night in the hotel by myself. So I'll post it Monday night, and then so that Ryan, you will have it to read for everybody on Tuesday.
Awesome. All right, guys. So I know you're all breathing a sigh of relief because we love it when we're on to read the cards and stuff. We definitely appreciate that. So now is the time for us to talk about the Freakin Awesome playlist. Again, that's our show we do every second Sunday of the month. And since we love music so much, we like to recommend songs for you guys to listen to on this show as well. So the first song is In the City by Joe Walsh. That is Howie's choice for the week. My choice is Suspicious Minds by Elvis Presley.
Ooh, that's a good one too. And my song is So Good by Stick Figure.
Ooh, So Good by Stick Figure.
Yeah,
that's a reggae band.
It's a reggae band. It's got a reggae vibe to it. It was really good for this past weekend when it was so nice and warm. So
that Angels Among Us or Angels.
Yeah, they got really good stuff. So
yes. So now it's time for the Freakin Awesome question of the day.
Woo-hoo.
And for that, I'm going to bring on the members of G.H.O.S.T Paranormal. That is Ghost Hunters of the Southern Territories.
Nice.
I believe. Go ahead and let's see. Then I'll bring here. Whoop. And hopefully they'll come on camera. There they are.
There they are.
There's Pam and Jessica.
Hello.
How are you?
The guys are off camera in the background. So
okay. So we start off each show with the freaking awesome question of the day. Sorry, I can't talk very well tonight. What was your favorite cartoon theme song growing up?
Oh
gosh, I have no
going
idea.
Deep here, guys.
I didn't really watch cartoons as a child, so.
What's your favorite cartoon theme song now?
I don't have one. I don't watch cartoons.
I don't know. Yeah, probably Scooby Doo. That's the only one that sticks out.
Well, Scooby, that's a good one. I'm
Or the Jetsons.
gonna go with He-Man for mine.
I was gonna say the Jetsons, but I'll pick another one. The other one I liked was the Flintstones.
It's classic cartoons. So how's everything going with you guys?
Cold.
It's
I'm
really
not
chilly.
sure where you all are at, but we're in southern Kentucky, so it's like frost advisory tonight.
Same here
Yeah.
in Virginia.
It's gonna be a cold one up here, which is way different than it was this weekend. It was actually really nice this weekend here.
Most of it, but we had a lot of rain come through.
Oh, really? Was there any flooding?
Yeah, in the northern part of the state, there was a lot of flooding.
So how did you guys get into the paranormal?
Oh, well, we started our group probably about 8 years ago together. My husband and his friend had done it in the past, and when I was small, we rented an apartment that my best friend lived in previous to us moving into it. So I knew her family, I knew her dad, everything. He had a massive heart attack and passed away on the couch. So we moved into the apartment. I moved into her room, and her dad tucked me in to bed at one night, just as solid as you and I are sitting here.
After he passed?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that piqued my interest. So I've always kind of had an interest in it, but probably the last 15 years, we've really started kind of investigating things and trying to learn more about it.
Your husband there with you? Does he have a experience?
He does. Yeah. Well, he likes lurking in the shadows. He's kind of those not
He's a
seen
shadow figure.
But we have a old funeral home here in town that's no longer a funeral home. It's just a residence now, but it was vacant for a long time. And I got a free key to it. Basically, we went and investigated anytime we wanted to. And it had a basement. And in the basement, there was a door that went back, and there was a tunnel and a well. Always kind of got a creepy feeling in the basement. My husband always believed a little bit, but he was skeptic. If a kid's ever ran up the steps behind you on the, hands and feet, how they come up, something chased him up the stairs doing that. So he's no longer a skeptic. And he would no longer return to that basement. So that's his story. And that's only been 4 or 5 years ago.
Wow, that is creepy, especially in a funeral home.
Yes. That's the thing. Horror movies are made of, like tunnels with a well.
Yeah, we've actually got
like the start of every horror movie.
We've got pictures on our Facebook page of the funeral home when we were investigating it, and the door that goes into the tunnel with the well actually it's an old wooden door with the upper glass panel, and you can see a handprint right in the center of that glass panel.
Wow.
It was a really interesting place, but
wow, that is creepy. How big was the handprint? Was it like a kid size or like a regular size?
I would say adult, because it was a larger handprint.
How about you, Jessica?
The most recent one was Octagon Hall. We all decided that we was going to go out to grab something to eat. And as I was the last one coming out, you could hear it chuckling as it was coming up the steps. So I thought it was my husband. But then it started chuckling and growling at the same time. And as I rotated around. It was taller than 6 foot, very broad. And needless to say, I came out of that house backwards and did not touch one flight of steps as I came through down to the vehicle.
Amazing how you can skip steps and just get scared like that.
Yes, it was a very big startle, but all night I had heard growling.
Wow. There is. Which Octagon Hall was it? Because there's we have an
Franklin,
Octagon
Kentucky.
Mansion here in Virginia. There's one in Kentucky.
Yeah.
What's the history of that place?
As far as we know, it's just more war and family members that passed away there.
It was part of the Underground Railroad. They used it for part of that. And at the very top of the Octagon Hall, there's a steeple type thing. And they actually hit a soldier in there. And the soldier died while he was in there because he had been previously wounded during the Civil War.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Is that one of your favorite locations?
I'd have to say Waverly Hills, but I've not had a whole lot of experience there. I guess it's more or less about the history with Waverly Hills.
Waverly Hills would be a lot of fun to investigate. It'd be a fun experience to go out there and just be a part of it, and just because it's so big, and it's had so much history to it. Like you said, the history of it. Even if you don't really get that much paranormal evidence, you still have the experience of going out there, which is, I guess what a lot of paranormal investigations are all about. Experiencing it with your friends and saying you've been to these places. What kind of stuff did you get at Waverly Hills?
We've been a few different times, separate and together. The guys have had rocks thrown at them in the death tunnel. They done a pendulum experiment, which I had never even heard of, on the 4th floor. Is that where the nurse? 5th floor. 5th floor, right where the nurse was supposed to have hung herself. And of course, I was the guinea pig, stuck in the middle, not believing it, them telling me, hey, just clear your mind. We're going to ask you yes or no questions. You'll lean one way for yes, the other way for no. And I'm thinking, no, I won't, obviously. So they're asking questions, and I'm trying my best to not sway one way or the other. But you can't keep your body from moving. It's wild.
That is one of the techniques that we use on our public investigations for the location we're at, that people are just amazed. We've had a couple people get very unnerved after. They're like, whoa. And so they're like, I don't want to do this, because they quickly realize, like, I'm not moving. What's happening?
Yeah, I mean, you try not to, but you can't.
Yeah, you think you're going to overthink it. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not going to be hypnotized. All of a sudden you're clucking like a chicken in front of a bunch of people.
Yeah.
Have you ever tried table tipping?
No, not even heard of it.
I'll tell them about table tipping, Rhonda.
Okay, so
maybe we'll try it the next time on our next investigation.
Table tipping, you need a really kind of lightweight, older table that's kind of round, and for your back's sake is kind of tall. You don't want one really low, and so that you get everybody in the group to come and just put their fingertips on the table, and you tell that you talk to the spirit that's there and ask them to tip the table over. And we really kind of like cheer them on and kind of get the energy pumping, like, come on, you can do it. You can tip this table. And like, usually by the time it starts, nobody's even touching it. But eventually they will start, because they're using, our energy to kind of help them get enough energy to tip it over. And it's really funny because literally it'll start moving, and then most people just their immediate reaction is, and then you see the table just slowly start moving more and tip on over. So it's just another, divination tool that we've found that's really fun to do.
Yeah. Cool. We'll
Yeah,
have to
it's
try
always
that
fun to try
somewhere.
different things. So there are a ton, or are there a ton of cool locations in Kentucky to investigate?
There's quite a few. You just gotta, permissions are hard. You know, you've got your public places like Waverly and Octagon Hall in Franklin. We've actually got an investigation next week at a state park here. It's no longer a state park, obviously, but it's an old museum and it's got a lot of original cabins and everything that are there. We're investigating that next week. Um, Whitehall Manor, we've investigated that, but mainly we've got a lot of graveyards that are supposed to have history.
Do y'all
Love
have a lot of
investigating.
trouble getting in graveyards?
No, we can get into the graveyards okay. We've got one here in town that we'd like to get into, but obviously they've got gates and police that, escort all of that. And we've not got, I guess we've done a lot of private stuff so far, public investigations at some of the larger places, but getting permissions and stuff is what we found the hardest part too, as far as William Whitley House here in town, which was another state park. Getting permission in that, getting back into Whitehall Manor, a lot of your old abandoned hospitals and stuff in the area, getting permissions into that. They tend to tell you no because it's too dangerous.
Mm.
What's so dangerous about it?
Just the conditions of the building and the property.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you could investigate the outside and still get stuff.
Yeah.
If they were, if people were interested in, making money or trying to rebuild locations, paranormal investigating is always a good way to raise money for historical locations and stuff like that.
Yeah, we've actually got an old college here in town. It used to be called Sue Bennett College. And the city is just now taken over a couple of the buildings there, one of which being the auditorium, the Bell Bennett building. And our city tourism director and I have talked about doing paranormal investigations and overnight and stuff to get some money coming through there.
Oh, that's so good that they're open to something like that. Because so
Yeah.
many locations don't want to be deemed haunted.
Yeah.
And it's strange to say that, but they don't, and it's kind of like, well, it could help you. So especially if you're getting a city that's willing to back that, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You think a lot of places, sometimes they're run by older folks who kind of have a more of a old school type of view on things. But the more we talk about the stuff, the more it's out in the open, and more places will be more accepting of paranormal investigations as a way to raise money. For the longest time, it had a pock mark on it, as far as you don't want it, you'd be thought of as weird if you had paranormal investigations. But now it's a more of a normal thing for historical locations nowadays. So hopefully that trend will continue, and it'll open up doors for you guys to get into more places. What was your first, Jessica, the first place you ever investigated?
My childhood home.
Ooh.
Really?
Yes, my parents rented a home, and the old man and old lady passed away, and I happened to sleep in the bed that they passed away in.
Did you know at the time that you were sleeping in the same bed they passed away in? Because that would freak me out.
Yes, they advised us of it.
Oh wow, that would
A
freak me
comfortable
out
bed at
in
least?
itself.
Was the bed
She just
comfortable? Hopefully.
do what?
Was the bed comfortable at least?
Yeah, it was.
Okay, good. At least have that. Did that at the
Yeah,
same
she was
time
just
or different times?
well, she was just kind of like a guardian angel.
Oh, okay.
Well, Okay.
Yeah, so it was nothing evil.
That's good. So you always felt comfortable and safe when you were there.
Yes.
Did you ever see anything, or was it more of a
Her.
feeling thing? Heard?
Yes, I seen her.
Oh, you seen her?
Yes.
Was she standing over you, or how'd you see her?
No, she was just kind of sitting to the side in a white dress.
Did you scared at all, or just like okay and went back to
No,
sleep?
there was no fear.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. What is
So
the
you
with
had
the spirits in the white dresses? What do y'all think about that?
I don't know. It seems like every time you hear a story of one, it's like a lady in a white dress.
or gray lady.
Yeah. Scott said that's what, in the old days, that's what they were buried in.
Oh, that's true. That is true.
Mm, man. So you got tucked in, and Pam and Jessica saw the lady in the white dress. So how'd you guys come together to form Ghost?
Our husbands.
Okay.
Our husbands have been friends their whole lives, and my husband worked with Jessica, so he fixed Jessica up with Scott. And there's the story.
There you
Fun.
go.
What was the first place you guys investigated together?
Probably West Virginia State Penitentiary.
Yeah.
Kevin bought us all tickets for my birthday.
So it was a public investigation?
Yes.
How was
We're
that?
not the typical crew that go out to eat for our birthdays. We find somewhere haunted to go.
Yeah, that sounds like a good birthday to me. It's awesome.
Exactly.
That place looks massive. How big is that place?
Oh,
That is huge.
It's huge.
Man, it looks. Architecture is amazing.
Oh yeah. And to be in there if you wanted to truly investigate it, especially at a private investigation, you would just about have to make 2 nights of it.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There's
And
so
not
much.
be afraid of bats.
Even if you're
Yeah.
not, when they just fly at you, it's startling.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I investigated St. Albans here in Virginia, and we had a few encounters with some bats there. So yeah, I know all about the flying vermin that are bats. Dive bombing my head.
Yes.
Did you guys get anything good? Any good EVPs?
No, we done the mistake of actually wearing our paranormal shirts. So all of the people that were just there for the heck of it and to see what they could do, pretty much flocked to us like moths to light. So we couldn't get anything for all of them because everybody that flocked to us were chatterboxes.
That's the one thing that's frustrating about paranormal or public investigations is all the talking or all the whispering that goes on. Like it's like as soon as the light goes off, people think they need to whisper because it's dark.
Yeah.
Like,
And I mean, in a
whisper.
cell like that, you've got 4 or 5 floors with nothing but open space with balconies of cells. It just carries through. So you can't tell where that whisper's coming from. If it's actually somebody 10 cells over or if it's somebody that's not there.
Right.
And plus, if you're at a public investigation and you hear a voice and you try to put it out there as like evidence, nobody else you put it out for, nobody is going to know if anybody in that group whispered or not. So you can say, hey, this wasn't any of us, but without actually being there, they don't know. So it's like you always have to either have it on video so everybody can see it, nobody's talking, or just I don't know what to do, honestly. That's why public investigations are not great for evidence, but they are good for experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's probably been one of the largest places other than Waverly Hills that we've done. Most of our other places have been smaller. We've been to Brushy Mountain. We haven't done an investigation there, but we went to kind of get an experience of what it was. But that's one of the places that we're wanting to go to. That and Trans Allegheny. That's our big list.
You going to Trans Allegheny?
We're going to Trans Allegheny in November. My team is. Yep.
Oh,
I'm so excited.
that's our number
All
one on our list.
So what kind of stuff do you look for when you're looking at a paranormal location to investigate?
The history, what happened there, how long it's been there. Architecture, really, because even if I go and I don't get anything, I like seeing the architecture of the places that we're going to. Moundsville at West Virginia was just, you go there and you're in awe of where you're at, regardless of whether you see or hear anything.
I agree with that. Some gorgeous places we all go see what we can find at. It's really amazing.
They definitely don't make places like they used to. Or it's just
No.
like almost looks like a castle when you go to these places.
Yeah, our town likes tearing history down. We don't have much here. We had an old hospital here that they could have made a fortune on if they'd have left it up just by being a paranormal site. What they call him, the Angel of Death?
Yeah.
The old Marymount Hospital. Have you heard of that? Marymount Hospital was a hospital here in town. And Charles, do you remember his last name? Charles somebody, I can't remember his last name, but he was a nurse at the hospital and he would do assisted suicides. So he was arrested and was called the Angel of Death, considered a serial killer. But he ended up being in a prison in Ohio and dying there just a few years ago.
Wow. This is all about perception when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Because
Donald
the system
Harvey
would be like, they wanted it to happen, but wow. And they tore that hospital down?
They did. It's a flat piece of ground now.
Wow.
Irene is watching us from Japan. What's up, Irene? Irene, how are you?
Good to see you, Irene.
Oh,
and
my
Nino,
goodness.
Emmanuel, good to see you. Thank you for joining us.
It's sad when they tear places like that down, but at the same time, it's like they can't keep every building. I'm lucky. I'm happy we still have the buildings that we still have today to investigate and stuff. And like you said, it's great experiencing the buildings, even if you're not if you don't get anything as far as paranormal activity. Just enjoying it, taking pictures with your friends, and being there with your family, your husbands, and enjoying the experience of it. That's awesome.
Yeah, we've got a couple TB hospitals and stuff. Obviously, it starts with one little hospital room, and then you outgrow that and get to a bigger hospital and then a bigger one. So we've got the old Pennington Infirmary here, which is just a 2-story, maybe 10-room max building. We've investigated that. It was a bank after the hospital, but we've got a TB hospital here in town, and we're trying to get into the sheriff's department, but they can't really let us in there because of the privacy and security and stuff that's in there, and the evidence rooms and stuff like that. But even the sheriff would like to get us in there because they have experienced stuff.
Oh, that's interesting.
I wonder if they could do something like put you into different certain rooms that don't have access to the private files, whether you can still be in there and investigate, but not be anywhere where you're close to anything that could be.
Yeah. I'm like, listen, put an armed guard in front of the evidence room. We don't need in there.
And we're not that's not the kind of evidence you're looking for anyways.
No.
It's always interesting that somebody in law enforcement wants you there, because usually they're so, right-brained, for what they do, they don't really think like about stuff like that. So the fact there's been enough activity to make them want you there says a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, very meticulous with what they do,
Yeah.
like evidence collecting and stuff like that. So, you know, being law enforcement, with they really would have to have something happening to want a paranormal team to come out.
Yeah,
To
I think they
investigate.
just
But
want to know
again,
they're crazy. So
that just goes to show, like what we're talking about earlier, with the fact that, you know, paranormal investigating is not as looked down upon as it once was.
yeah.
But there's a time they could have stuff flying across the room and they wouldn't contact a paranormal team.
Yeah. So question for you all, what's your favorite equipment?
My phone. As far as I get EVPs, I use the voice recorder on my phone. I use the camera on my phone. It works great. Other than that, the spirit box probably.
I'm the same. I love EVPs.
It's hard to dispute an EVP.
Yeah.
If you're in the right conditions, where it's
Yeah.
like, you know, not surrounded by 100 people trying to, you know, whisper to each other. But if you're in a group of people and you know that nobody talked, and you hear a voice that doesn't make any sense in the like situation, like if someone says, you hear the words "help me" during an investigation, and you know, if one of the people in your group said "help me," you would probably stop. You'd probably say something on the recording like, "What do you need help with?" You know, so if the words "help me" come out, or or anything, if you don't hear it on the investigation, or if you do hear it, you would be like, "Okay, what do you need?" The fact that you do hear it and no one else said anything, it's like, it's really hard to dispute that kind of stuff. But then again, there are so many people who fake stuff too, that it's hard to convince people who aren't there that it happened, because of, you know, people trying to get clicks and stuff like that. So it's really an honor system when it comes to paranormal investigating. But yeah, EVPs are the best for me, and it's also good. That's why I use a camera, because you can get a video and audio at the same time. That's definitely makes it harder to dispute the stuff, like the stuff you have on your TikTok page. It fucking blows me away. It's awesome. You guys do an amazing job.
Yeah, you do.
Thank you.
Nothing beats like an EVP and then some piece of equipment validating the same thing you're getting. So
yeah,
that's why
I love my phone and taking pictures and stuff. It's random, you know, the bones in the tree on our TikTok page. I'm sure you've seen that. That's probably one of the weirdest things that we've ever come across.
I can tell my experience in paranormal as a kid, because until now I want an answer. Hey, if you want an answer, let us know. I don't know if I can give you an answer or not, but if you want to tell us your experience, we'd love to hear about it.
Yeah.
Irene says, I don't use equipment, but I'm alone and old spirits don't like equipment, so I just use my ears and see what I do. See, that's another thing people talk about, the your body being the best piece of paranormal equipment. I think the hardest part, which a lot of people have a hard time with, is trusting yourself, trusting your instincts. You know how you feel when you walk into a room and you know there's something in there. But some people don't trust those instincts, man.
Yeah, getting sick at your stomach or getting a headache and thinking it's just an illness. No, a lot of times it's not.
See, Teresa said, I love wearing my earphones plugged into my recorder and hearing live.
See, everyone has their own way of like investigating. You know, what are your favorite pieces of equipment to use?
Mine's my camera on my phone, just constantly taking pictures, and then using the spirit box with headphones with somebody in a different area asking questions to where we can't hear them, but we can hear the answers to relay, you know.
What about you, Jessica?
It's about the same, but I also enjoy using my Nikon. Sometimes you can catch a little more on your phone though than your actual camera.
You know, got the word for it. You know, when you are like the reoccurring hauntings, what's that called again?
Residual.
Residual. Yeah, residual hauntings. I had a little bit of a brain fart there. You have these residual hauntings. We have I run, well, my friend runs the cabin on 360 up here in Virginia. My family owns the property, and my grandfather built the log cabin back in the early 80s, and in the late 80s, early 90s, the cabin was raided by the police for having a brothel in it. And so when we investigated up there, up in the back room of the cabin, we would get these strange, like, moaning sounds, but not like chains rattling ghosts, woo, more like, the other kind of moaning, the good kind of moaning, some people would say. So we get these sounds, and like nobody died there, I got an EVP of a woman saying I'm naked. Trust me, if someone had said I'm naked and during the investigation I heard that shit, I probably would have said something. I would turn the lights on, let me see. But it was a girl too, so yeah. I'm wondering how much of something needs to occur in a place do you think for there to be a residual haunting of it? Because I mean, I guess a death that was something so like permanent right there that obviously happened one time, it'll leave a mark on the place. But you have places like things like sex or someone turning the TV on or walking up and down the hallway. What do you think would cause something like that to stay in a location for so long?
Well, I mean, you hear stories about people that attached to somewhere that meant something to them. So even if you had a childhood home or whatever, and that was your favorite memories ever, and you moved off, when you pass, you can still be attached to that place, or you could be attached to a piece of furniture or anything that gets moved into that space, whether or not something's happened there before in that location.
Mm-hmm. I wonder how much energy we leave behind places, because we have a house. We're talking about we have a house in North Carolina, and we go there every year. And I'm wondering, like, because I was there, and I just kept picturing, like my family there and like stuff we were doing. I wonder how much energy we leave behind places just by going places over and over and over again. You know how you go to a party and you have a party at your house or something, and everyone comes over and everyone's having a good time, but then the party, everyone leaves. They still have that energy.
Yeah.
You still feel their energy. I wonder, I guess that's kind of like that, where it's like the energy is still there. It's just kind of piling up on top of each other. And then pretty soon it just kind of sticks around. It stays there as a recording.
Yeah.
So it's interesting stuff. It's that's why I love it. Enjoy it.
I think
we've definitely got a lot more to learn, but we love doing it.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking residual, I think we all don't get an opportunity to test that out enough. I mean, because one of the things about residual is a lot of times it's supposed to happen at the same time. Like you would see like the same or hear the same occurrence at the same time. And usually we're only there like once or twice. It's not like they're repeatedly to say, yep, this happens every day at 10:30 or something happens every day at 10:30. So I don't know that anybody's ever got a chance to really work with that and figure out what it could be or how much energy it would be. So it's interesting.
There's a story I heard growing up as a kid. There was a house in Goochland County here in Virginia where there was like every night, or like I don't know if it's every night, but apparently there is a like residual haunting of a woman carrying a candlestick, headless, walks down the steps, and then halfway through the steps, she screams and falls down the steps, and then she disappears. So that's the and there's a Ghost of Virginia book I used to have, and there was a picture of like a drawing of a girl with no head carrying a candle. That freaked me out. Honestly, I would now I'd want to go check it out, but back when I was a kid, no.
So
Crazy.
for y'all, what from the you guys started this paranormal team and you started your investigations. You've been doing it a while now. What has changed about your thoughts about the paranormal in general from when you first started to what you think now? Has anything changed in what you thought or believed or how you approached things since you originally started?
Well, when I first started, because I had seen what I had seen growing up, I kind of expected stuff to be more obvious than what it was. But also, I'm one of those people that don't like dark. I know I'm in the wrong line, huh? But every bump in the night kind of really freaked me out at first. Getting a little better with it, but only on the inside of buildings. I don't like investigating outside at night. I'm the team wuss when it comes to that.
I think every team has the one person on the team. We have one even on our team. There's one person who just does not like to be in the dark by herself. Like she's like, I'm here for moral support. I don't like the dark.
If I'm in a building, I'm fine. Send me down the hall. I'm good. But not outside. And it's not the ghosts that I'm afraid of, even though, we pack when we go and, you never know what you're going to come up on. But I don't want to come up on a bear or a coyote.
Well, I think that's scarier than, like, we've come out of our investigation where we're at, and the first thing you smell is a skunk, and you're like, oh gosh, am I going to make it to my car before it finds me? So you really do worry sometimes more about the creatures than the the ghosts themselves.
Yeah. So probably more dangerous than the ghosts. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to run to a bear or a coyote during investigation either, to be fair. So yeah, it's very legitimate concerns you have. Everything goes bump in the night.
Yeah, they say play dead if you see a bear. I wouldn't have to play. I just have a heart attack and fall over.
All right, let's see what I'm sorry, Jessica, what was your experience?
From my first one to now,
Mm-hmm.
I'm still that same person. If I hear it, I want to go to it, whether it's outside or inside. So nothing's really changed for me. I'm just told not to bring nothing home with me by my mother.
Good advice.
She's our fearless team
Good
member.
advice.
good motherly advice there. Tell it to stay there.
We have brought stuff home. Well, not we, my husband. He's definitely brought some stuff attached.
I brought home a few stragglers myself. I had one. I've come home a few times. I walk in the door, and Angie would be like, "Yeah, you need to go back outside and tell whatever you brought with you to go back."
It completely
Brought some
changed his
hitchhikers
demeanor.
home.
He was angry and everything for weeks until we went and investigated the funeral home that I was talking about. And whatever it was, I mean, he was up in my face. He was up in other team members' faces. It was just not him. And
Did you know what it was?
Took him down to the floor, and he was fine. But
dropped it off at the funeral home.
Yeah.
Yeah. You stay here. All right.
Yeah. So we brought you to the funeral home. Your dad stay.
So when it was going on, did you know that was what was happening, or did it take a while for you guys to figure it out?
I mean, it took a little bit to figure out what was going on. I thought he was just
Mhm.
being a jerk, but we had went to a graveyard, and he was attracted to this one grave, and it was this young boy, and we don't know anything about the boy, any history, nothing about that. But after we left that graveyard, he was not himself for a couple weeks, and it took a pretty good bit for us to kind of put the pieces together to see what it was from. But that night at the funeral home, when whatever it was let go of him finally, that was probably, I mean, it was to its breaking point with him, because I mean, he was out there.
All right, guys. So this is from Nico, Emmanuel de Guzman. This is his experience. He's waiting for our answers here. So let's see what he has to say. When I was a kid, my mom and I, with my siblings, going to church, and that was my last time I saw the face of evil, Lucifer or Satan, killed by Archangel Saint Michael. After I saw, I was too afraid, and I saw his eyes watching me too, and his eyes is moving side by side. We got home. It was night already. I'm starting to saw a dark shadow making afraid on me. It comes to the point I shout out and cry. My parents got angry for me. Then the following nights, they also afraid too because I keep cry because I saw a devil moving. And my man give a rosary, and I make a necklace after that little bit away. Uh, wow. I mean, it seems like glad you got that rosary, and that seemed to help. Do you ever experience anything like that where you get like so scared on an investigation?
No, one graveyard I wouldn't stay at. I did leave there,
Mm-hmm.
but other than that, not really.
You really
We've
guys have
had
any
stuff
advice?
shut us in rooms and stuff, but nothing that was completely, nothing that it wouldn't let the guys open back up for us.
You have any advice for Nino? Sorry.
Just use your rosaries, say prayers.
Yeah, yeah, definitely say prayers of protection if you're still experiencing stuff like that. You know, there's a lot of stuff out there that we don't understand, and just be careful when it comes to stuff like that.
Yeah, I would say my prayers, and just and from reading what you saw, if you actually saw um, Archangel Michael come and defeat this, that sounds like Archangel Michael is probably one of your protectors, and you can work with him as well as a protection for whatever
Looking over you,
help
yeah.
has watched you since then.
Irene says everything goes bump in the night here, and you don't have to go far for one. Especially every place is haunted here. Yeah, I mean, I've seen videos of Japan on some of these like haunted evidence, paranormal evidence channels on YouTube, and tell you what, there are some messed up places in Japan to investigate.
Yeah,
I
I
think
think
that's where the
about that
ring came from
sometimes.
too.
I mean,
The Grudge.
well, if you think about any, like especially Japan, but like anywhere, even here in the States, so much has happened. This land has been
Mhm.
here for thousands of years. I can't imagine that there's a place on this land that something terrible hasn't happened, or something could be haunting it from something that occurred. If you look at
Yeah,
the period of time, so why wouldn't just anywhere be on it?
yeah. I mean, true. I mean, there are every there could be ghosts wherever you go. Honestly, it doesn't have to be an old house, an old abandoned prison. It could be a plot of land that you think nothing happened on, but somebody could have been killed right there.
Hmm.
Uh, but we are getting towards the end of the show here, and I could talk for another hour with you guys about this stuff, but we'll have to save that for part 2 of our conversation. Hopefully you will want to come back on and join us. Hope you guys had a good time.
Sure.
Tonight.
Yeah, we did.
Can you tell people how they can get in touch with you or check out what you guys are up to?
G.H.O.S.T Paranormal. We've actually got TikTok. We've got a Facebook page. We haven't started YouTube yet, but we're in that works. And G.H.O.S.T Paranormal at gmail.com is our email, and we're here in Kentucky.
Right. G.H.O.S.T is G.H.O.S.T. So it's what, Ghost Hunters of the Southern Territories.
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Awesome.
definitely check out their TikTok because they've got some good stuff out there.
And you guys need to make your way up to Virginia.
Yeah.
To investigate.
We'd love to. There's a lot of places in West Virginia that we're dying to go to, but Virginia's on our map list too.
Nice,
so.
nice.
Well,
At least we made the map list. We made the map list, Rhonda. We're getting
Yay.
there. Maybe one day they'll come see us up here. Guys, thank you. That's all Jessica had to go.
Yeah, our phone died.
Pam and Kevin, we appreciate you guys so much for coming on, and we will show you all the support, all the love on TikTok, and we will talk to you soon. We'll get you back on here sometime next year. That sound good?
All right. Sounds good.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much. We will see you later. Have a good rest of the year. And
Thank
good
you.
luck on the investigations. I can't wait to hear all about them.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks.
Talk to you soon.
Bye.
Bye.
So that was a fun show. I actually found them on TikTok. I sent them a message. They were like, "Yeah, so do you want to come on and talk to us?" They were like, I guess it was Pam I was talking to. So like, we never done a live before. So
well, they did great as first timers.
Yeah. A little bit of an echo at first, so I'm glad we got that figured out. So it was a good show. Thank you to everyone in chat.
Yes.
It was fun. Great interaction with everyone. Hope Nino. Hope we helped with your problem. I'm glad that Ron talked to us about it, and you were open with us. We really appreciate that. I was at a store in North Carolina yesterday, and I had my Cabin on 360 volunteer shirt on, and someone asked me about if it was like a paranormal location or like a jump scare type of place. Like, oh, it's a paranormal location, so he might be coming up to investigate up there soon. I told him about the show, so maybe he'll tune into the show.
That's cool.
And so hopefully we'll get another freak on. And yes, join the show, join our awesome crew here. Next week, I'm going to be talking with Ashley Herndon. We're going to be talking about the Beatty Mansion.
Ooh,
that's going to be fun. And
if I get back in time, I'm going to tune in to you guys. We've got a dinner that goes till 9 o'clock is when we're all loading on the bus and going back to the hotel. So I don't know how far this place is from the hotel, but if I get a chance, I'll pop in because that sounds fun. But I also watch the replay on when I fly home.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Things to do.
So April 22nd, we have Ethereal Voices of the Paranormal, and this is actually a person who actually commented on the show.
Yeah.
And then we booked them to come on. And then April 29th, we'll have Shirley Ann Spencer coming on. I think she's part of Donnie Parker's group.
Okay. Nice.
Maybe. Then Dennis comes on May 6th.
Talk
about the Cabin Con. Speaking of Cabin Con. We are going to be at Cabin Con at the end of May, early June for that great event.
Going to be a fun time.
You're looking forward to seeing everybody out there, and come by, swing by the table, say hi to us. So Cabin Con, I think, and then May 13th, Rob G from Spaced Out Radio.
Yay.
And then May 20th, we have John Savage from Savage Paranormal
Okay,
on
cool.
the show. So we have a bunch of awesome shows coming
Yes, we
at you guys.
do.
Going to be a lot of fun. So until then, until May 15th, I will say good night. Thank you guys for tuning in. And I will be back here next week. Same freaking awesome time, same freaking awesome channel. Rhonda, not
I'll
so
be here
much.
in
She'll be in
spirit.
Florida. Yeah, she'll be here in spirit. So, guys, we look forward to talking about Beatty Mansion. Rhonda, have a wonderful trip.
Thank you.
We'll miss you. And we'll have you back here on May 22nd, I believe, with Ethereal Voices of the Paranormal.
That's right.
Before then, we'll be back here with the freaking
East
awesome
Coast show.
playlist. So
Yeah.
yeah, so you have to wait that long for your Rhonda fix.
Good
All right, guys. You guys have a good night. We'll talk to you soon.
night, everyone.
Good night.